Be a breadwinner, you can be a breadwinner. Girl, go and get that. You can achieve that.
Have you ever felt like your marketing plan is complicated with nonstop social posts that are getting low engagement? Or perhaps you're in the place with your marketing where you're trying a little bit of everything: webinars, launches, reels, TikTok, and it feels like you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall. If you can relate, give me a T for true. Well, today I'm going to share my simple weekly marketing routine that consistently builds a community of high-end clients that ultimately end up working with me, and so that you can actually swipe this routine and try it out yourself. So welcome to another edition of Breadwinning Wednesday, where we teach simple systems to sell and deliver a high-end service without working more hours. Hello, I'm Jamila Payne, CEO at Daily Success Routine and host of the Breadwinning Women podcast. So let's go ahead and jump into today's episode. If you are excited and ready to get started, give me a ready in the chat. I'm excited to be with you. I have been on client calls and prospective client calls all day. So my mouth is like, listen, girl, we have been going. We have been talking it up today. Okay, so why is having a weekly marketing routine important? Well, first of all, you got to understand the difference between your sales and your marketing. They're two very different arms of your business, and you want to make sure that you can understand both and how they can effectively help you. When you think about your marketing, I want you to think about bringing in leads to your business, being able to nurture those leads. Nurture is basically maintaining the relationship. You know, just like if you met somebody at a networking event. In fact, let's use a networking event as an example. You go to an event, let's just say it's some kind of business mixer. You're meeting people at the event. You meet somebody who is interested in what you do and they want to learn more. We can call that person a lead. Okay, so they're a potential client lead if they have qualified themselves by expressing interest in what you do and wanting to learn more. So let's just say a person becomes a lead. Then after you meet them at that networking mixer, from there, you want to go on to keeping the relationship going. Like, you can't just meet somebody at a cocktail party or a networking event and then never stay in touch and call yourselves friends or potential clients or anything, right? You got nothing going on. So in order to solidify the relationship, you need to nurture the relationship, which is making sure that you're keeping in touch. So basically, your marketing piece is where you are going to identify the lead, you're going to qualify the lead, you're going to nurture the lead, and then after you do all of that, you're going to make an invitation to work with you, right? Or make an invitation for your offer. These are all components of your marketing. When it goes to having the actual conversation about whether or not they're going to work with you, this is now when you're getting into sales. This is the sales component of your business. So I want you to understand that there's a big difference between your marketing and your sales, and you need both working on your behalf. But that is essentially why you need a marketing routine, so that you can successfully bring in and nurture leads and have a ritual around inviting people to work with you on a regular basis. Now, when it comes to marketing, there are two things that are really important that you want to be thinking about in your marketing. The first is consistency, and the second is your testing. So everything in marketing is a test. You're trying it out, you're seeing what works, you're learning from the mistakes, and you're making tweaks. You're trying it out, you're seeing what works, you're learning from, and it's not always mistakes, but you're learning from the lesson of whatever you did. So let's just say, for example, that you put on a master class around a certain topic and you find out people love this master class. They love the title of it. They were super excited. They attended. I got a lot of great feedback, right? Like that's an example of doing something where you're getting information back from your clients. You're seeing if it works for you, and then you are making adjustments in your marketing based on what you learn. Having a weekly marketing routine will allow you to be successful in this entire process of taking a person from a cold lead, someone you just met, to close where they are actually a client. Now, the key other thing that I want you to know is you don't have to do it all yourself. In fact, I would highly recommend that initially you're setting up your marketing system or your marketing routine for yourself and your business. But after that, you may want to enlist somebody who is working with you inside of your team to make sure that you can successfully execute with consistency. That might be a VA that you have on your team. That might be a more advanced person like a marketing assistant that you have on your team who is really working with you to make sure that that marketing routines get executed flawlessly. Now, this mistake that I see people making is not having a system in place at all when it comes to their marketing. They have no routine or no process to do the marketing at all. And they're just putting out a bunch of different things, right? They're just all over the place, or they're not doing anything at all because you're afraid to be visible and put yourself out there. And this is one of the biggest mistakes you can make, because nobody can work with you if you're the best kept secret in your marketplace. You have to be putting yourself out there so that your potential clients, like, think about it, you can't, you know, meet people at a networking event if you just stand in the corner, right? It's no different when it comes to marketing your business. You got to be putting yourself out there so that people can get to know you and see you and like you and trust you and get to have a better perspective on how you can help them, because you should be sharing about your services. So the key with the marketing is you want to go deep and not broad. Okay. So instead of trying whatever the latest marketing tips and tricks are, I really want you to focus on having a strategy, a system, a routine that you're replicating every single week in your business. Now, I'm going to share with you exactly what our marketing routine is in the hopes that it will help you and give you some ideas about how you can set up a very simple system in your business for your marketing. Now, what we do for our weekly marketing routine is we really center it around a community. So number one, the first thing that we do is we build a community of potential leads and people that we want to be in touch with, people that are ideal to our audience. We want to be in community with those people. We want to be talking to them. We want to be building relationships. We want to get to know the things that are important to them. We want to be in conversation with them. So I would highly recommend that you build some type of community. That might be a community on LinkedIn, for an example, that you are working with people on, or you're able to be in relationship with people on a regular basis and create conversations with them. Okay, so then the next thing that you want to look at in your marketing routine is the nurture piece. How are you keeping in touch with them? And the way that we do this inside of our marketing routine is really just by going live once a week. It's what you're looking at right now. It's our Breadwinning Wednesdays. So every single week on Wednesdays, typically, unless there's a holiday or something else going on, or if I'm on a vacation, I'm going live inside of our community so that people can basically get to learn about what I teach, how I can help them, gain information and insights from me, be able to get a sense of my personality and how I am, right? Like that's what a person can get out of going live. Now, I know going live can feel a little bit scary, but video is one of the most high converting ways to be able to interact with, engage people online. And the great thing about it is that nobody can build up a faster relationship. It's the next best thing to being at an in-person event. You cannot build a relationship any faster with a person outside of being in person with them than you can on video. Okay, so we basically do a weekly live video inside of our community once a week, and then we spread the word of that. Okay, so marketing is 80% about distributing the content that you create and 20% about creating content. Okay, so you know that Paretos Principle, the 80-20 rule? Well, we spend 80% of our effort in spreading the content that we create and 20% of our effort in creating content. So it's more important that you get your marketing out into the world than it is that you create more marketing. So what I would highly recommend is that you use this principle to make sure that you are sharing your marketing. Like, so for example, what we do is we will send an invitation to our email list to let them know that I'm going live. So we typically have an email that goes out about 15 minutes before I go live, making people aware that I'm going to be going live and that I'll be doing a live show and that they should show up to that live show. Okay, so that's one way that we notify people. A second way that we notify people is after the live session, we take a clip from that live session and repackage it and share it out on social media so that if people aren't here live with me, especially, you know, this time of year, it's summertime, we've been in a pandemic for 2 years, people want to get out a little bit more. And so we're utilizing resharing a recap from the live stream so that people can see, oh, if I missed it, here's what I missed, right? And so they can be able to get knowledge from the live based on showing up and seeing what they missed. And then they can come back to our community and watch the entire episode. Okay, so this is a very simple marketing routine that we have been using. Now, the key to any marketing routine, especially when you're doing live video, is that you want to have specific call to actions that are a part of your video where you're inviting people to take the next logical step. And depending on what your business model is, that next logical step is going to look different for everybody. In some cases, the next logical step might be to book a call. It might be to attend something that you have coming up. It might be to download something that you have to offer. It might be to watch your free training. It could be any one of those things that you're doing that would allow people to take the next step in learning more about you or working with you, but having that simple marketing routine is absolutely going to be the key. Hey, Alyssa, so glad that you are here. Just checking inside of our Breadwinning Women community to see who is joining us live. Feel free to throw some likes and hearts on this video. Okay, so let's recap what we talked about here. So firstly, you want to have a weekly marketing routine that is allowing you to consistently connect with potential leads. If you're wondering, if you've been saying to yourself, hey, I don't know where the heck my next client is coming from, then that tells me that you may not be building up a community of leads, that you don't have people that you're in conversation with on a regular basis. Clients come from conversations. Conversations come from having leads. Remember, in order for a person to be a lead, you need to actually capture their information, right? So a person is not a contact for you or a potential lead that you can follow up with if you have absolutely no way to get in touch with them. So you have to make sure, just like if you were meeting somebody at an in-person event and you got their business card or you exchanged numbers via your phone or you did that whole, you know, fun little iPhone, you know, where you can layer your phones over top of each other and do the QR code thing and exchange contacts, right? You have to be exchanging a contact. So the person is not a lead until you have actually captured their contact information so that you can follow up with them. So the marketing routine is important is because it's going to allow you to follow up with those leads that you want to connect with on a regular basis, be able to nurture those relationships so that they can become potential clients. You want to have a very simple weekly marketing routine process. We talked about that one of the best ways to do that is through live video. It is the fastest and best way to connect and convert clients, for people to get to know you, to get to like you, to get to trust you, to get to understand more about what you do and how you do it. Video is the way to go. So even if, listen, let me tell you a secret. If you are concerned about doing live video, one of the ways that you can build up a comfort with doing live video is literally setting up like a Facebook group on your own, where you just have a Facebook group and nobody's in there. You don't even need to invite anybody. You can be your only friend inside of your Facebook group. And you just go live inside of that group and you practice going live in the group. And you go back and you watch yourself and you figure out, what do you want to tweak? Should I practice a little bit more of this? Oh, I notice when I'm talking, I'm like fanning my hands everywhere. Maybe that's like telling you, okay, I want to practice with this. It'll allow you to get comfortable and confident on camera so that you never worry about the biggest thing that holds people back or being afraid to do live video is that they're not sure how they're going to look. Like, do I look funny? Am I making faces? What are people seeing that I'm not seeing, right? Like, you're not necessarily seeing yourself when you're live, and all depending on how you're going live. And so what you could do is just go live inside of a Facebook community and just do those live videos on your own, which will give you the practice that you need to build up the confidence that you want to be able to feel comfortable on live video. And then the last but not least, certainly most important piece is that 80%, which we talked about, the content distribution. So making sure that when you're doing your live video, you are letting people know in advance that you're going to be going live, that you are resharing your live after the fact and letting people know that you went live. Here's where they can go to watch the full video if you're giving them a clip. And you want to do that in as many places as possible. That could be on your email list, that can be on your social channels, that can be inside of your community. Remember, it's about distributing the content, which means sharing it, getting it out in the world. You want to spend more time distributing your content than you do creating content. All right, well, that is our Breadwinning Wednesday for today. Before we go, I want to let you know that we just finished up an amazing event, Signature Service Makeover, where I did some live makeovers. And if you did not catch, I think actually I was going to say that you may want to catch a couple of replays of the live makeovers, but those makeovers may be coming down. So if they're not down already, you probably have until later today to catch some of the live replays of those makeovers. But what I also want to share with you is we just released a really amazing episode of the Breadwinning Women podcast. And if you're not already a listener of the Breadwinning Women podcast, if you love these weekly lives for Breadwinning Wednesday, you are truly going to enjoy the Breadwinning Women podcast, where I go live once a week, and not go live, but we put out a live episode once a week. And this past week, we put out an episode that I'm really proud of and excited about with a dear friend of mine whose name is Sherelle Weems. And she actually talks about the experience as a young woman. She's in her early 40s who just had a quadruple bypass. And, you know, it's a very uplifting. I know that sounds, really tough for somebody to have that experience, right? And what she really shares is the story of what she learned about running her business and being a solo owner, and how do you set yourself up for success in your business when you can't anticipate having a health crisis. What are some of the things that you need to have in place in your business to set you up for success? What are some of the things that you want to make sure that your loved ones are aware of, that will allow your family to be prepared in the case of anything happens to you? How do you manage the return from a health crisis in your business? It is a super inspirational episode. You are going to laugh. You're going to be, emotionally moved by the episode. So I want to encourage you to subscribe to the Breadwinning Women podcast. Listen to that episode that just released with Sherelle Weems, and more importantly, share the episode with a friend who would get a lot of value out of it. All right, that is our Breadwinning Wednesday for today. I cannot wait to be with you next week. We'll be back here at 6 p.m. for another Breadwinning Wednesday, and I look forward to seeing you then.